Hey, I'm Brittany O'Neill, originally from Ohio, been in New York now for about 9.5 years. I've been racing and writing for about 8 of that time. In my free time, I have a real job. I work as a professor. And I have a daughter that just graduated from law school. I'm super proud of her. So this is my Weiss Hammer Track aluminum, custom made in Brooklyn, New York. And the setup, I have Sagino 75 direct drive with a Izumi Super Tough chain. 65 millimeter cranks, running a 49 in the front. I have a 16 on the back with the flip-flop hub, 15 on the other side. You can see the Russian Rakita hubs that are custom made for Weiss factory. The rims are, again, Weiss manufacturing, about 60 millimeter. I have a tube in the back, tubeless up front, kind of mix match there. When it comes to the cockpit and the seat post, both are all are zip. And you can, of course, see this amazing Gucci Gold glitter paint job that we have going on here.
What's the length of the stem? Do you know?
I think it may be a 110 is what I presume.
And do you know how wide your bars are?
My bars are actually, I got these shorter. They're 38.
Track star.
I believe, yeah. The other ones were a little too wide for the body type. The saddle is a Lady Cell S&P saddle. If you're not familiar with the brand, they have this kind of duck nose tip to it. It helps with, your power. It's very comfortable. Did several centuries on this bike, never have any issues. I have some cages on right now. Normally I would be riding some Garmin power pedals, but just to get around the city, it's always nice to, be able to wear regular shoes like these right here. Here we go. And yeah, I think that may do it. Weiss Manufacturing is bringing their goods to the Japanese market, partly because Weiss is handmade, it's custom, their focus to detail is on point. So that, I think, translates well to Japanese innovation. So we came over as a team. We participated in Bike Lore. There was a crit back in Tokyo that we were able to participate in. Of course, super fortunate to be able to do that. And Weiss Factory had a couple pop-up shops at some bike shops, Nicholas in Tokyo and Brochures in Tokyo. And now we came to Osaka. My teammate Amelia is racing an alley cat right now as we speak, so good luck to her. Of course, the queen of alley cats in New York. Know she'll do well. And I had one race, and now I get to enjoy the thrills of Japan. I'm not complaining at all. So, being part of Weiss has not only opened my eyes in the sense of bike riding, but has also given me the opportunity to travel across the world. I've never been to Asia. I, never thought if someone told me that I was going to be a bike racer that could go to these places and meet new people and kind of, find a common element. Oftentimes when we travel overseas and things, we may not have a purpose outside of leisure and vacation, but this combines that with racing. So we come, we meet people, and everyone's been super friendly here. I have got beeped out a few times, but besides that, people have been super helpful. even if there is that language divide, there's still this sense of humanness and intrigue. You know, you tell people, you know, they ask where you're from and you say you're coming from New York City. And of course, everyone wants to go to New York at some point. So it's a way for people to come together that may have not found each other any other way. And there's little kids that just ride around with like no parents or anything. Like, you can't do that in New York. You're not going to see kids on their own, but here it's just so commonplace. So the rules are a bit much, but the rules also allow people to live easy, to live safe. You don't have to worry about, you know, cars darting out in front of you, pedestrians walking when they shouldn't, because people just don't do that here. And the wet towels before meals are clutch. Can I talk about bidets? Everywhere has bidets and public toilets. Like, you go into 7-Eleven, they're not going to, you know, deny you a bathroom. They're not going to have a sign on the door that says broken. So certain things here I really do appreciate, and I would love to be able to incorporate them into our own society.
How did you get into riding bikes?
So I had a friend who introduced me to FixedGear riding, and I realized that riding around New York is the best way to get around. I originally kind of started as a way to add extra cash to help support a New York's lifestyle. And I realized that it gave me the opportunity to see the city and to get to know more people. So as I rode more, I started to meet more people. And started, you know, doing some social cycling, got a track bike built. And when I did that, I felt the need to kind of use it for its real purpose. And got introduced to the velodrome. I remember this friend telling me about alley cats, and I couldn't understand the concept behind it. And now getting to know some of those people, I think it's a dope concept. Still crazy in my estimation, but it's in New York, riding a bike is probably the best way to meet people, and you can avoid the subways and traffic for the most part.
So you mentioned racing track. What keeps you racing track? What keeps you doing it after how many years have been racing it, and what keeps you doing it?
Yeah, so I've been on the track for about 5 years. I love the speed. You know, it's hard, it hurts, but it only lasts for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then you get, you know, time to chill and talk to people and laugh and do all of that. But it does take its toll, I'm not gonna lie. After, you know, oh shit. After, you know, doing it for a while, there's times that you need a break. So I see why the off season is so important. Then I got, you know, into criterium racing, and I kind of feel that it has its own special format, I guess. I wouldn't consider myself a sprinter, and I think that criterium races allow you to showcase kind of the endurance aspect with, you know, of course, those surges and of course the final sprint. Whereas the track, for the most part, it's kind of, you're always on.
How you liking riding in Japan? A bicycle in Japan?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie, it took me a little while to adjust to the culture, but coming from New York, you know, we can be a little reckless, we can be a little lawless, and understanding that here in Japan, that's not the way that they roll. To respect the people and to respect the culture. Of course, New York riding is probably one of the best environments for riding. But here, you know, it's fun. Everyone rides. That's the other thing that I really appreciate it. Whether it be moms with, you know, 2 baby seats front and back, whether it be the person, you know, just getting to work, you can ride on the sidewalks. Whereas, of course, in New York, that's a no-no. The streets here are wide, the traffic moves. So there is that kind of ability for fast riding. Tokyo was a little bit too structured, too rigid for me. We just got to Osaka not too long ago, and I can already tell that it's a little bit more chill. People are, you know,
how are you finding the
having
food?
a good time.
What's your favorite?
What's
your favorite dishes? Yeah.
Terry knows. My favorite is the chicken necks and the shrimp with the eyes on it. No, the food for the most part has been really good. The fried foods, the sushi. Last night we went to a conveyor belt sushi restaurant that was like almost completely self-service. And I'm sure there's places in New York like this, but not quite to that extent. And let me tell you, we had beer, we had food, we had soup, $13. $13. You can't do that in New York. You get 1 roll for $13. Not even, exactly. That's going to be a simple roll with just, you know, salmon and avocado or something. We've, you know, we did a Century Plus around the Bay of Tokyo, and we stopped at, you know, a ferry restaurant. One of the best meals I've had maybe ever. So that part, yeah. Of course, any culture, any place you go to is going to be different from where we may be from. It takes time to adjust, especially myself, because I am very set in my ways. But I've learned to kind of open up to what's being offered here and not be in my, you know, America's the best way. Because, you know, honestly, it's not. And not saying this is the best either, but merging things together. It is the way to go.
What 3 things would you borrow from Japan and bring over to New York City?
I mean, it's going to sound so trivial, but I already kind of mentioned a few of them. The wet cloths before meals, the sentos, so maybe too personal, but my first time in a bathhouse, especially like the nudity part of it, and I thought it was going to be really super weird, but because I didn't know how to respond to what I was doing in the bathhouse, the nudity part kind of was like not even important because the language divide and trying to figure out what I was doing. But I really like the sentos or the onsens, where it's very like kind of this like female camaraderie, but also a focus on cleanliness, and I love cleanliness. So I feel like that could cross over. Oh, and the key point with the sentos is that the government sets a standard on the price. So it's like 350 yen. So for you all, that's like, what, like $3, $2? It's super cheap. The other thing, I'm torn on this one, Terry. I'm torn on the rules because I like regulation, but only when I want it.
You also like efficiencies, right?
I like the efficiency. Oh, the lost and found here. The homie lost his bag on the train, and within 5 minutes, it was already found, recorded, and recovered. Let that happen on the MTA.
Yeah, right.
You're never gonna see it. You're done. And this was like his bag with his personal information in it. You know, it wasn't just clothes and stuff. So that kind of stuff I appreciate. Like, people aren't here to take from you. People have a sense of community, a sense that they themselves are kind of insignificant when it comes to the whole. Whereas, you know, in the United States, specifically New York, it's like, you know, every man, every person for themselves.
Dog eat dog.
It is a dog. I love the lawlessness though. Like, you know,
There's a certain part of lawlessness that actually improves efficiency, whereas you have too many laws, it actually hinders efficiency. I think that's what you have a problem with the traffic, specifically in Tokyo, is how many laws there are. It's not very efficient to get around.
Yeah. You have people like stopping at a crosswalk, a pedestrian crosswalk, when there's not a car in sight, and like, will wait. And I get it, because if you break one rule, then you may, you know, break others. I am a supporter of like being self-governing, like having my own control of determining what's right and wrong. And I think you do miss out on that if there's never the opportunity to do it.
What's the meaning of life?
What's the meaning of life?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, family for me is one of the key points. You know, I mentioned I have a daughter. I have a great support system. So I think family, happiness, and maybe some cannabis and smoking a few joints, which can't do here, people. You can't do it here. Which is okay.
How are you coping with not being able to smoke weed? Are you replacing it with alcohol?
I've just been drinking more. So, but the positive silver lining of this is when I get back to New York, as soon as I take a hit, I'm gonna be blown away. But again, it's a cultural thing. And it's actually one of the reasons that like track racing, especially the UCI events, I'm kind of moving away from it because of the strict regulations that are imposed on certain quote unquote narcotics, if you will. Because, you know, like for me, it's not about like, oh, I'm high. It's more about body regulation. And yeah, I mean, it's just part of a lifestyle, I guess. It's not about like doing it because it's the cool thing to do, but you know, it helps me sleep, it helps me eat. Yeah, the food, they don't really give you a lot of food here. Things like, you know, smaller portion sizes, again, it's a good thing. But as an athlete, as someone that's constantly burning calories and working out, like I need a lot of food, but it's cheap, so just gotta go find more.
Yeah, I do a lot of like multiple food stops or double portion breakfasts.
Yeah, like there may be multiple breakfast stops and like multiple lunches. I also, you know, for bike parts, Japan is, you know, great because you have your Sugino, your Shimano's, your Runwells, your Gravel Kings, like all of these bike parts that we seek out in the States. We seek them out because of the Japanese innovation, the Japanese engineering. But, you know, riding a bike without brakes is, you know, not really supported here.
Yeah, what would you say about somebody who came to the US and broke the rules?
Oh, I mean, you'll be fine. You can come to
Like,
the US
would you be mad? Would you approve?
I mean, I break the rules all the time, so that would be kind of hypocritical. In New York, the biggest thing is like, just don't be in anyone's way. Like, no one really cares what you're doing. Just be mindful that you're not alone in this place. That, I mean, for me, you know, it's more of a pet peeve than anything, but like, don't stand in the middle of the sidewalk trying to figure out where you're going when there's, you know, people coming behind you. Because yeah, they will be rude. They will, you know, say something. It's not about them being mean people. It's more, again, it's about this efficiency of getting around. And, you know, there's 8 million people in New York. So you got to be mindful that you're just one of those. You see the baby everywhere. You see babies on the back of bikes and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see all of the moms who use bicycles and take 2 kids at times.
2 kids, like, and that's their every day. And you know, you see it in New York, but here it's just, it's so open. And also, like I said, they can ride on the sidewalk. So you kind of have, depending upon the type of style of riding you're doing, there's a space for you to do it. And here in Osaka, like I said, we just got here last night, but everything seems more open, streetwise. Tokyo, the dope thing about Tokyo was the infrastructure of the streets. So you have this kind of upper level tier of expressways and highways. Then you have a mid tier of things like, you know, your regular roadways. And then you have these like little, like windy neighborhood sidewalks that cars can still fit on, but they're very narrow. And it gives kind of everyone a place to move without impeding the progress of others. So I really do like that. I mean, alleyways in New York City, probably not the best thing. Again, you know, lawlessness. But the city's built very efficiently. It was built with multiple modes of transportation in mind.
What's your opinion on Osaka versus Tokyo?
Yeah, so far, like, everyone in Osaka just seems a little bit more chill. You do see people kind of moving more on their own pace as opposed to the pace of what is expected. So, like, I was out earlier and, you know, I just seen, you know, people cutting lights when it was safe to do so, very similar to how you would in New York, you know. There's a red light, no one's coming. You continue on your way. In Japan or in Tokyo, not the case. Like, you don't do that. Oh, this is cute. See, it's like little things like this. Like, that's a roadway right there. Like, people walk down there. I would like to, to do a road bike trip, go do some more distance. Mount Fuji in the distance on the bullet train yesterday was super dope. Just like, it's not flat by any means, but just this huge mountain sticking up with white, snow-capped coverage was just amazing. But I was told I can't hike it because it's too cold right now.
So this trip has gotten you curious to come. You want to come back?
Yeah, I'd come back.
With the same bike or a bike with brakes and gears?
I may bring a road bike, just because it is a little bit more versatile.
I think it unlocks way more riding here.
Yeah, even in New York, like in the States, like getting a road bike earlier this year, gave me an opportunity to do these longer rides, these rides with elevation, whereas the track bike, of course, is the best way to get around.
You can do it on a track bike, but there's just stuff. There's climbs in Japan that are like...
Yeah, even on a road bike, though.
It's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
All right, final closing statements while we're on our bikes.
Travel, because you may find places that are not really your lifestyle, but you can find the parts of cultures that you can connect with. I think that's how we learn as a culture, as a community, to appreciate others, even if it's not our own. And even if we can't wait to get back to where we come from, you get to see other people. You get to see how other people live. So I guess that's my final pieces of wisdom. Oh, one more thing. The dessert culture here, on point. You can get like the convenient little cookies, ice cream sandwiches. They have these like little waffle ice cream sandwiches, which I'm gonna go in the 7-Eleven and get right now. Great. I love the convenience of these cute little snacks. We need to incorporate that definitely in the United States. All right, that's it. That's it now.
All right, we're in 7-Eleven.
7-I, Terry.
Everyone
7-I.
knows that the convenience stores here are
right here.
The top of the game. So we're gonna find out what Brittany's gonna choose here.
I already chose.
She already knows what she wants.
This right. Oh, and these right here. Oh, see, the last pack. Everybody knows about these little strawberry ice cream things.
If we're going ice cream, I'm gonna go. This is what I go with. This one right here.
Which one?
This one.
Oh.
Because it has a little like ice cream sandwich, just like for your fingers to hold it. Oh, you have
the little thing to hold, right?
Yeah, it's like and your fingers don't get chocolatey. Mm-hmm. It's so smart and it's delicious. I don't have my mic. Sorry about my audio. It's outside apparently. We're gonna wrap this up. Brittany, thank you for your time.
Thank
you. If you have any questions, reach out in the comments. Her Instagram is dropped below as well. If you want to see a race, go out to Casino when the season starts again in April.
6 days.
Peace.
Bye.
So we bring to a close the story of rigid control through the unceasing research and the highest quality.